soldiers gleam like fresh fallen snow and clank like a kitchen. They head this way. We'll know it.
Welcome, dear viewers, to CouchWarrior TV on YouTube. I am the CouchWarrior, and you are watching Arcane, a Skyrim Let's Play. Welcome, brothers and sisters, to Chapter 9, Part 5. If you remember from our last episode, we just got finished with a dungeon crawl of Dead Man's Respite, and we are currently on our way to Solitude to perform the next assassination in the Dark Brotherhood questline, the assassination of Vittoria Vici, to be carried out during her wedding. We camped out at Dead Man's Respite. Whoa. Hey. It seems ominous. Not often that you see a flight of bats.
I'll fight the entire legion myself.
Okay.
They dare show their faces here.
So, as you know, we are traveling with our companions, Valfar, Nefei, and Lydia. Okay, we got something. Oh, bear. Come on. Alright, we'll take one chop, circle back around, and get our followers involved. There we go. Made pretty short work of that. Okay, interesting point about this video. This is going to be a combat-heavy episode of Arcane. If you remember, many episodes ago, whilst traveling along this road that we are very near here, it's a road that runs east-west between Windhelm and Dragonbridge.
What do you need?
There is actually a fort here called Fort Snowhawk. We encountered this fort and were attacked by some undead out in front of the fort. We also saw a conjurer of some kind who was manning the walls of that fort. Fleet has a long memory for these kinds of things, and his objective is, now that he has his complement of companions, he is going to go into Fort Snowhawk and basically cleanse that fortification of whatever nastiness happens to be there. Now, one of the things that I'm playing around with here, an interesting point is, for the purposes of our story, I have attacked Fort Snowhawk twice. Once using the mod Mixed Unit Tactics, and once without. And during our video here, I will be providing some comment with regard to my experiences using that mod, Mixed Unit Tactics. The attack that I have chosen to include in the story of the two is the one not taking advantage of Mixed Unit Tactics. And I'll get into some more detail as to why very shortly. But at this particular moment, we are approaching Fort Snowhawk. Fleet intends to do a little bit of surveillance from the top of the ridge here before we actually go in. And currently, Mixed Unit Tactics is in play, but the only follower who is being affected by Mixed Unit Tactics at this moment is Lydia. So as you can see, she's hanging back. That's a function of that mod, specifically. And the mod is really designed to allow me to take groupings of followers and place them together in squads with a squad leader, and then provide them with commands and have them all move as a unit, basically. The first attack that I made on Fort Snowhawk, using Mixed Unit Tactics, I actually had Lydia and Nefei grouped together into a squad, and I assigned Lydia to be the leader of that squad, and it was kind of an interesting experience. However, I feel like in order to make it an actual, to make it a legitimate feature for me to use during the course of a video, I need to get a bit more practice and a bit more understanding for how some of the finer details of that mod actually function. I had some difficulty getting that squad to move the way I wanted it to. And one of the things I also noticed is that something about the way that Valfar is set up as a follower makes him impossible to add to a squad. So, unfortunately, I was not able to get all three of them to move as a unit. I could only get 2 in a squad, and then Valfar would just follow me as a normal follower. So right now, I basically just disabled mixed unit tactics on Lydia by basically disbanding her squad, and now she is also going to follow me just like a normal follower would in standard Skyrim. And at this point, that's fine. Originally, I was hoping to split my forces. Fleet was going to send a squad around front so that he could attack from the side. We will still be able to accomplish that, but we'll have to do it in a slightly different fashion. And because Valfar, our follower, is so curmudgeonly, he is going to follow me no matter where I go. However, I find Nefay and Lydia to be a bit more agreeable when it comes to actually following my orders. Somehow that seems fitting for Valfar, doesn't it? Okay, so Fort Snowhawk. It is actually shortly after dawn, so it's very early in the morning still. And really what we're going to do here is we are going to use our bow, and we're going to use Eagle Eye to kind of scope out the walls here a little bit. I'm really interested to see if there are any guards who might be keeping watch on this side of the fortress. We know that they're watching the front, but we plan on launching a flanking attack from this side. There is actually a hole in the wall here that we can get a couple warriors through if we need to. But firstly, we're going to get up here and hug the wall, and I am going to, I think, probably move around the front and see if I can't get a couple of my followers engaged in combat there. Hopefully Nefay and Lydia, and then once they get engaged in combat at the front of the fortress, I will take Valfar around the side and we'll do some kind of a flanking maneuver here. Divide their attention a little bit. Okay. Now here, we're going to set ourselves up. We know that there are a couple of skeletons up in the front here, and at least one mage. So, oh, here we go. Here's a mage right here. Once I open fire, they are going to start attacking. So, me firing that first shot is kind of like the go sign for these guys. Okay? Now we've got a couple of attackers at the front. I'm going to sprint around the side here and see if I can start some kind of engagement here on the east side of the fortress. Yep, Valfar followed me. That's okay. Alright, here we got reinforcements heading for the front. We are going to cut him off before he becomes a problem for Lydia. Alright, we are in. Fort Snowhawk is another fun one to attack. We're primarily dealing with undead here and mages. Alright, now I can't really tell at this point whose attention this mage has. If it's us or if it's Lydia and Nefay up at front.
Can't wait to see the look on their faces when they find us.
Let's
here.
tuck ourselves right in here.
Spill their blood.
Alright, Valfar is kind of our tank. We're going to let him take the shots. Alright, he's not even getting aggressive here, so we are going to open up on this mage. Get a shot in. There he goes. Now he's on it. Now the other thing that I can do here Okay, here comes Nefei. She's got the bow going. That's perfect. Look at that. They killed another mage out front. The girls did. Now we have a conjurer sitting here. Take him out from range, and we have basically cleared the front of the fortress, I believe. Pretty close. Now, one of the other things I can do to actually make my followers attack is I can use the tactical sign, even though I don't have mixed unit tactics in force in terms of a squad. I can still use the tactical sign. So I do have the tactical sign enabled right now. It's associated with the same key that I would use to, I don't know, fire off a shout or a power. So if I select an enemy and I hit that key, I'm basically giving the order to attack that individual or that group. Now in this instance, I'm not doing that. There's a skeleton up there. I'm going to see if I can draw him down. If not, I think we're just going to leave him, and we're going to head around the other direction. Yeah, we're going to do that. Okay, we're going to take our unit around here. We're going to stick together, too. Now that we're inside, we're not going to split up. Now that we're inside, we're staying together, and we're going to fight as a unit. Fleet is interested in building the bonds of combat with these four, or with these three and him, I guess. So the way we do that, of course, is attacking places like this and getting combat experience. So let's see what we've got up here. Okay, there's a mage. Nope, okay, he sees us. So I gave him the attack sign. Lydia heads down. Nefei put an arrow in, I put an arrow in. And then she goes to town with the sword. Look at that, Nefei took the high road as well and just jumped down next to me. That was cool. Alright, we've got 2 more down. Okay, here's another mage. Oh. Off the corner. Here he comes. Mage is down. Let's let Lydia get in there. She took out the skeleton. So far, this is pretty efficient, and I think all we have left is that one skeleton off in the distance. You can see he's coming down now. Lydia's after him, but I'm going to take him out ahead of her. All right, we've cleared the outside of Fort Snowhawk. Not too bad. We managed to accomplish that in around 6 or 7 minutes, maybe less, actually. So pretty efficient work. Now we're going to regroup our team here, and we are going to head inside and see what kind of cleanup we can do in there. Here we go. Conjure bow. And this guy.
Good job.
Yeah, good job, everybody. Not bad at all. They took out one, and then together we took out the other. Now Fleet takes point. That seems the natural role for him. Oh, I hear it. Do you hear it? Yeah, you can hear a skeleton. Let's draw him up to the edge of the landing here. I'm going to put one into this enchanter's table. There he is. Okay, that takes care of him. One of the things that I do plan on doing, now that we are actually inside Fort Snowhawk, is I'm going to showcase a little bit some of the illusion magic that we're using as part of our Figment style of illusion magic, our displacement magic. So to start with, I'm going to have my heavy hitters stay here. Probably bring Nefei with me, and we're going to scout ahead up the corridor.
I hate the waiting. The goddamn waiting.
we've kind of completed the areas of Fort Snowhawk that are going to be really heavy with enemies. So now this affords us an opportunity to get our stealth warriors involved. So that would be Fleet and the Fae exclusively. So we're going to leave our heavy hitters behind. Okay, so I'm going to be using a spell. This is an illusion spell from the Apocalypse spell package called Bend the Shadows. And he's done. Essentially what this spell does is it allows me to travel through the shadows and to occupy a space in the shadow cast by my target. However, in order for it to work, I have to hit them with the spell, and it's a fairly slow-moving spell, so the challenge is hitting the target. But if I can hit the target, I can appear directly behind them in their shadow and attack from that position, which, as you can imagine, is ideal for an assassin. And given our style of magic, displacement magic, we're focused on spells that are useful in combat, in particular for an assassin. And so Bend the Shadows is probably one of the more useful spells we could acquire from this package. Okay, here we go. Here's another opportunity. Got a mage behind a table across the room.
What was that?
And it's done. Okay, we have neutralized most of the threats in this area, so I think we're free now to kind of explore, pick up the things we need. So Bend the Shadows is part of the Apocalypse spell package. As I said, it's an illusion spell, and I believe the level on it is Adept. It's an Adept level illusion spell. Now, the interesting thing is that I've noted just from playtesting, and I don't know if this is just an anomaly from my experience or if this is if it's designed to work this way, but I've noticed that in darker areas or areas where there may be less shadow cast by the sun because there's not a definite light source, that I tend to appear further away from the target. And I don't know if that's a function of the environment, if it's just happenstance, or if it's actually a mechanic built into the spell. So I have to do more play testing to know for sure, but I've found it to be incredibly powerful for an assassin character. Dagger in one hand and Bend the Shadows in the other. And during my play testing, I've been able to chain kills together in amazing ways. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the kind of chaos that Fleet is going to be able to create with a spell like that. One of the other ones, of course, that we have is Blur. We've talked about Blur in a previous episode. I also acquired Featherfall, which is actually an alteration spell, but a very useful one. Has a lot of utility. So we'll be seeing some use of that later on. And then in addition to that, another spell that I am planning on using is also an Adept Illusion spell from the Apocalypse spell package called Swap, which allows me to actually trade places with the target. It can be an enemy. It doesn't have to be an enemy. It can also be an ally. Again, it's a long, ponderous type of spell where I fire it, and it doesn't travel very fast, and I have to hit my target. But the trade-off for that slow travel is that if I do hit the target, I can actually trade places with the target. So that fits very nicely into our whole displacement style of magic as well. Okay, this is a letter basically describing kind of why these conjurers are here. So they've basically rooted out the bandits that were here, and they are now using those bandits, the ones that are left alive anyway, as test subjects. My feeling is that Fleet would not have any real opinion either way about what conjurers do. I don't believe that Fleet is the sort of person who would view any particular kind of magic as bad, per se. I don't believe that he sees the world that way. He just recognizes what may or may not be useful to him. And of course, he is an avid user of conjuration. He just limits his use to mainly conjured weapons. So I don't believe that his motivation for coming through here has anything to do with rooting out evil, certainly. It's all about, really, practice for his team and acquiring wealth at this point to finance his operation. So he looks at it in practical terms as a practice opportunity. All right, lots of alchemy ingredients. This is never a bad thing. And taproots. Taproots are good. We'll take those. Okay. I think we've gathered up everything we can here. I'm going to take Nefeh and proceed on to the next segment of this fortress. So we've got a barred and locked door here in this main chamber. I think the next step is to go through here. Thanks everybody for coming back. I do appreciate your viewership very much. You probably noticed that the tempo of my video releases has slowed down significantly. I said that it probably would. So my goal here is 2 a week. I thank you so much for your patience, and every once in a while I have somebody checking in with me on Twitter to see when the next one is coming. That's fine if you do that. I don't view that as pressure. I'm on my schedule, and my schedule is what it is. So feel free to check in every once in a while if you want to. I don't mind that at all. All right, skeleton here. Hear another one. Yeah, you can hear the creaking bones. There he is. I'm going to ruin his day. Alright, so just coming up here to kind of figure out what's up here. We've secured the top of the stairway, just kind of confirming that. And we'll see kind of what the egresses are from here. It looks like we've got a ladder and a door. So the ladder goes to Skyrim. Pretty sure the door does too. So we've got a section of stairway that went down. You can see me actually rolling through those runes. I don't know if the runes here were glitched. There was one in the hallway previously too that when I passed over it I didn't set it off, so I'm not sure what the deal was. Alright, we pumped a little bit more into stamina. And now I'm going to proceed over here. Well, let's check one-handed quick. I don't think I can do much there. No. Nothing I really want to invest in quite yet. But let's finish off archery. We should have, we got one more level in overdraw, so let's polish that off and max out our damage. And our followers level up. One interesting tip, and this is a function of one of the mods I'm using. I'm not sure if it's mixed unit tactics or amazing follower tweaks. My guess is it's probably AFT, but every once in a while you'll see me go up levels, and you'll see that it's the notation on that is that I'm getting synergy points. In a previous episode, I had erroneously described what that was. What I have since discovered is that it is not me being told that my followers are going up a level in a particular skill. It's me actually being awarded experience for them going up. And that is, I think, the mod creator's attempt to balance the game so that if you have lots of followers who are going around doing lots of killing for you, that you're not missing out on experience and levels. So as my followers go around killing creatures that normally I would kill if I were adventuring solo. I'm awarded synergy points, which gives me a certain percentage of their experience and allows me to acquire levels. The trade-off here, of course, is that I'm acquiring levels in whatever skill it is they're using. So I may be acquiring levels in skills that I will never use personally, but the points I'm gaining will allow me to move up character levels. So, you know, it's kind of a trade-off. I've gotten several levels in heavy armor and two-handed. Again, those are skills that I'm probably not likely to use anytime soon, but they are allowing me to move up or, you know, continue to advance my own character level, perhaps even a little faster than I would have if I were adventuring solo and concentrating solely on my high-level skills like archery and stealth, for example. So it's kind of a nice trade-off. I sort of like it. You know, we'll see how that plays out as I continue to advance levels here. But I think I had mistakenly described it before as being just the application or the mod, if you will, reporting when my followers went up levels. I didn't realize I was actually being awarded experience points. So, all right. So I'm leaving my followers behind. The only place I haven't checked in here yet is that ladder that goes up to the roof. I'm going to go up to the roof and check that out, see if there's anything up there. Oh, and look who it is. It's Valfar. Again, disobeying an order. Which, again, somehow fits his personality, so I'm not complaining. I just have to accept the fact that he's going to follow the Dragonborn wherever he feels he needs to follow the Dragonborn, regardless of what I think. So that seems like something Valfar would do anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. Let's try Featherfall. Now, my assumption is that this is going to work much like the ethereal form shout. So I cast it, and I jump all the way down. I don't take any damage as long as the spell is in effect. So that's actually quite handy. So we are going to keep that one at the top of our playlist. So let's summon our followers here. I'm going to, if you remember, we left some of our followers inside, so we'll just get them all assembled here in the same area. Well, I used the tactical sign there. I didn't use the tweak commands. That's what I need is tweak commands. There we go. I just want to get my team assembled here rather than having them spread all over the fortress. It seems a little bit safer. So here they are. Now that I got them all together, we'll use AFT and just command them to stay here. Let them mill around, do their thing. And we are going to go in solo and clear the last part of this fortress. Okay. Okay, now we're inside. You can see ahead we got another frost rune. I'm not taking any chances. Generally speaking, you can avoid damage if you roll through them, so we're going to roll. That one went off, but we didn't take any damage. I heard a dagger drawn. Here we go. These guys, nothing fancy. We're just going to shoot them so fast that they can't react. I think they must have reanimated that dead orc that was in the room up there. Alright, so let's look for anything good. Come on, anything good. Ooh, nice shot. Okay. The Firmament. I believe I already have that book. Let's open this chest. Oh, broken lockpick. Yet another broken lockpick. There we go. That's all keeper. Keeper stuff. Cowhide. Take cowhide. This must be where they're working on some of their freaky experiments. Fleet has a dark side, obviously. We've talked about that previously. He can be a very sinister individual. But I don't necessarily picture him as a guy who would relish torture or place any value in torture. He seems more like a just kill him kind of guy. So he certainly wouldn't shed any tears about eliminating these freaks in here. We found a few scrolls in here. It's one thing I haven't used much of are scrolls. You know, this was our orc here. He tried to reanimate them, they just weren't fast enough. And we are done. Fort Snowhawk cleared. And that frees us up to continue our travels on to Solitude. Quite a nice looking group. Now, since our last video, I have introduced some additional mods that just simply retextured the iron armor and added a couple other enhancements to the Aesir armor, which is the default armor that Valfar wears. Incidentally, the Aesir armor is actually made by the same guy who makes Valfar as a mod. So if you're interested in the armor that Valfar wears for perhaps your own character, that mod is called Aesir Armor, and it is made by a gentleman named, I believe his screen name on Steam is pronounced Omashon. That's what it looks like to me anyway. I apologize, sir, if I got it wrong. But I installed that mod just so that I could kind of retexture Valfar's armor. So you may notice that his armor has a little bit darker appearance to it now. That's mainly because of the iron retexture and the Aesir armor mod that I've installed. But I thought that darker armor would make him feel like more a part of the group. I didn't want to... Valfar is not a guy who belongs in ebony armor. He doesn't belong in Daedric armor, although he would be quite a badass in Daedric armor. It doesn't seem to fit his personality. Doesn't seem like something he would do. Part of what makes him him are the different trophies that adorn his armor. We've got one mage left over, a straggler. Oh, he's screwed now. We'll just let our team do their job. And it's done. Let's get Nefay to gather up the horses.
We've stopped. What is it?
Now the other thing that I've done is I've used the mod Mixed Unit Tactics to also reconfigure my horse setup for my followers. So the horses that they're riding are no longer random. I've specifically selected black horses of Whiterun for all of them because I felt like it would just kind of really look awesome with all of them on black horses and black armor. So that's kind of what we've done. We've reconfigured the look of the troop here a little bit. We'll do a little lap around so you can get a look. And we are on our way. Again, that comes from Mixed Unit Tactics. So even though I'm not using a lot of the squad and formation controls quite yet, there are a lot of other pieces to that mod that make it valuable. So, all right, off to Solitude. We have plenty of daylight left, so we are going to fly right through Dragon Bridge and go straight there. Now, besides the obvious mission that we need to carry out with Vittoria Vici, there are some other things that we need to take care of. One of those is we are going to make a trip to the Bard College. We're going to look through their library for any books that might help us. Books having to do with the Daedra, for example, might be interesting. While we're there at the Bard's College, we've got a book that members of the Bard's College are going to want, mainly these verses of King Olaf the One-Eyed. We can turn those over. And we also have in our inventory a instrument called Finn's Lute. Sure would be great to get rid of that thing. So I think we might be able to get rid of both of those in one stop. We've also got a fence, if you remember, in Gullum, who's located at the Winking Skeever. We may stop in and visit him and get rid of some of this stuff that we don't want. Alright, as I said, we are going to pass straight through Dragon Bridge. We're not going to stop here. No reason to.
My hatred for the Empire is exceeded only by my hatred for their witch elf puppet masters.
Valfar is in a lather, as always.
You better come with us right now.
I don't know who you think I am and I don't care. Leave me alone.
I don't have time for this foolishness. Now come along quietly.
Submitted to tyranny.
At this point, Fleet might actually sense the presence of a word wall near him. If you're familiar with this part of the countryside, there is a word wall very close to where we are. Thus the pause. But we have things to do, so we're not going to pursue that quite yet.
If you know any true sons and daughters of Skyrim, tell them to head to Vintel.
So I think the order of the day is I'm going to proceed to Solitude, and we are going to stable our horses and head into the city. And then once in the city, we will get all of our followers settled in at the Winking Skeever. And then as soon as we've got a moment, we will go out and kind of take care of some of the things that are on our to-do list.
Then we will rebuild Skyrim into the land she once was.
So we'll head down here and actually leave the horses at the stable. Okay,
I long to be out there,
we made it, finally.
waging war against the Empire.
Alright, let's proceed up to Solitude.
Damn Imperial arrogance.
So what I discovered is that the entire first half of this video, Chapter 9, Episode 5, I recorded my commentary using the wrong microphone. You may be able to hear that in about the first 35 minutes or so of the commentary, recorded on the wrong microphone. I did not realize it until I was 35 minutes in, and there is no way I'm going to go back and re-record perfectly good commentary. So, I am on the correct microphone now, so I'm hoping that the sound quality will be a little bit better, a little bit less echo. Incidentally, the microphone I use is a Blue Snowball microphone. Not too bad if you want to record stuff. It's about $70 if you buy it retail, and it's a pretty good multi-direction type of microphone. Pretty good for podcasting or recording music if you're playing music. There's certainly way better microphones that I could get, but for the money, it actually does a pretty decent job. So I've been pretty happy with it so far. Of course, the only issue is when I forget to select the correct microphone in Audacity. So if I launch Audacity without having first connected my microphone, it will default to my laptop microphone, and then I get wonky commentary. So I apologize for that, but I am not going to re-record it. The time I have to make my videos is limited as it is. I don't need to do each one twice. So, if you remember, we've got a mod installed that makes Solitude feel a bit more like a capital city. It includes these two new blacksmiths. So we're going to go over what they have and sell off some of the trash we have in our inventory here, things we won't use. Certainly don't need that. Nor do we need that. Although, I can't be certain whether or not I have the enchantment, so I'm probably going to keep that armor.
All right.
I've got your back.
Well, thanks.
Still here.
So we sold off a couple of things. Not as much as I would have liked, honestly, but that's okay. Let's continue on. And that brings us to the end of another episode. I want to thank you for taking the journey with me. And until next time, may all that you do be swift, quiet, and deadly. And to all Skyrim assassins, I salute you. Silence is our battle cry. You've been watching Aranis Arcana, a Skyrim Let's Play. If you liked this video, please rate, like, and subscribe. For more information on this and other CouchWarrior broadcasts, visit me on the web at www.couchwarrior.tv.